welcome to the Wealthy LaLa show with myself, Laurie Laursen. This is episode 227. How are you doing today? I got to tell you honestly, in my world, I have been, it's been an adventure. How did I call it? I've been calling it loaded. The last few days have been very, very loaded. You know that blog that I read yesterday was such an incredible contribution to me. Yeah, it just really was. In learning to stay with our pain, like to really stay and be present with ourselves, to really, really hear what's going on. It was like for me reading it yesterday brought me to another level of even being able to receive that for myself. Right now, my one knee is so sore. And what's interesting is any kind of painkillers I take either do not work or make me feel like absolute crap. And trust me, I have everything from Advil to Tylenol to Toradol to I have Percocet. And I have something else. It's I can't remember what it's called, but it's a Tylenol based one. So anyways, it's so interesting because, when I've talked about like energetic priorities, getting into the energy of what we desire to create, like really getting into the energy of what we desire to create. Okay. Guys, oh my God, girls, like I'm saying this to me, like to me, that it is actually really that simple and seems so incredibly difficult at the exact same time. So I'm going to actually see if I can load this one Facebook post that I read yesterday. So in Dr. Joe Dispenza, he has a few Facebook groups. And this one person, I don't know if it's a man or a female. I'm thinking it's a mom. Okay. And so this is what the person says. So it's an Ellie. So I'm going to say it's a mom. I have taught my now 7-year-old all about Joe Dispenza, and then in brackets, in a kid-friendly language. He really gets it. As a result, he has been able to manifest so much in the last year or so that he recently manifested a dog. Haha. Since he's a child, everything he manifests are things like toys, trips, money, etc. When I ask him to help me manifest, LOL, he said he can't, that he can't feel it for me. Wow, my little spiritual guru. When I asked him, how do you feel? And that's in quotations. He says, I feel as if I already have it because I do already have it. Like really, wow, hey? So the mom says, it's so simple, yet so hard. And if I were to tell anyone else this, they wouldn't believe me. I have witnessed him manifest money right in front of me. He wanted a book at a bookstore. We were just browsing. And I said, well, save up your money and you can get it. And he said, well, can we just stay a bit longer so I can read it a bit here? Yes, she said. Then 15 minutes later, he said he wanted to go explore more sections in the bookstore. I said, no problem. We were walking around, and guess what he finds? A $10 crumpled up bill. It was crumpled up and abandoned, and without skipping a beat, he picks it up and says, I'm ready to buy the book I wanted. And then she says, by the way, we did try and find the owner of the $10 bill. And she says, now only if it were that easy for me. So what's really interesting, and this is going with this is tied in, like God, like this could go so many places, but where I especially want to go with it is that I realized today that one of the things that I've been asking for, so Dr. Joe Dispenza does this one box meditation, and I know I've talked about it on previous ones, and basically you write down what the problem is, how does it make you feel, a few of the emotions. What are the things you think when you feel that way? And then if you had a little Google cam watching you, what are the things you choose in your life because of those thoughts? Like, how do you show up? Now, that's how you show up with those thoughts. and with that energy and who you're being. That's what you're being, okay? So then he asks you to put a new box, put yourself outside of the box, happy face. What are the energies you would like to feel if you no longer had that? What would you feel if you no longer had that? For me right now, say knee pain. Well, the ones I actually wrote down the other day were, I would have so much gratitude. I would have this incredible sense of freedom. I would have joy, and there would be such a sense of relief in my world. So I was, this morning when I woke up, it was probably been the worst day in the last, say, week or so. And I know that when I start to get to that point of discouragement, and I've done some EMDR with it, I've done some EFT with it. Trust me, I did still try and take another medication last night with it. A rescue remedy, it's a homeopathic. I've been using essential oils, and what has felt like nothing is working. Kind of got me to a place where I was starting to go down the road of discouragement again. And I got the hit to reach out to someone. And so I was chatting with that person on the phone, and I was actually just randomly sharing about the article that I read yesterday and saying how after doing all of these things, and listening to the gurus or whatever, if you actually just really truly sit with yourself, sit with the pain, sit with it in just a loving way, just be with it, just be present with it, not to fix it, not for anything, but just to be with it. Maybe see what information it has for you. And in the article yesterday, she talks about how when you kind of hit I'm going to say my words, I can't remember hers, and I don't have the article up right close here, was it's like you'll hit your bottom. And when you hit that bottom, you'll know. And what will come with it is a sense of freedom that you've never experienced before. And as I was repeating this to someone on the phone today, I started to cry, and I realized that that's actually what my body is getting me to. It actually wants that for me. And it actually knows. And it's not a punishment thing. And this might sound really, really crazy to some of you. And each of us has to find out what's true for us. We're not all a one size fits all. There may be another time where knee pain for me might because I'm stubborn as hell. Well, I am in this case. No, actually, that's not even light. So when I say that, so it's heavy. But it could be a stubbornness. Another time it could be a rigidity and an inflexibility. Another time it could be because I bumped it, and I wasn't paying attention. And another time it could be like now, where my body is like, if we get you where you can't actually move very well, you're going to sit. And we've been giving you little hints all along including that blog yesterday, where sitting with you, sitting with your knee, sitting with the pain, just being present with it is actually going to create the freedom that I'm actually asking for. And I started to bawl. When I heard myself say it, I started to cry. And I know for me, when I start to cry like that, that's when the truth is really there for me. I mean, there's other ways of figuring it out too, but in that particular case, like I just knew that when I tapped into that's what it was gifting me. That's what the crying was gifting me. Was the truth for me. Just that. Yeah. So how amazing is that? And, like I said, we all have to sit with it and find out what some kind of pain is for us. One thing I've really noticed over the last, say, week or so with this is that my mind, my frame of mind impacts it big time. So, like right now, as I'm choosing something like this that's fun for me, a little bit distracted because I'm not focusing on the intensity. The intensity's still there. It's still like a 9 out of 10, and I'm not in that place of like God, discouragement and despair that I can be in sometimes, a lot less than before, which I'm really super grateful for. So, is there an area in your life that is really inviting you to sit with it? And I'm not going to lie, with all this stuff that I've been asking for, like in asking for to be in the space, the to be in the state of being of joy, gratitude, freedom and relief in my life, do you think the things that aren't working for me are going to show up so that I can heal them, change them, choose a different perspective, create something new? And I mean, and I just have to say, like, some of this times I'm just going to be repeating some things that I've shared before. And I really realized that I don't know how many times I heard some things before I finally got them. 1, 5, 700,000 million times, you know? And so when Abraham Hicks talks about how, you know, now I'm going to say this in my language, okay? Kind of running a bunch of different things together in the way that works for me. But when you have like an energetic priority of wanting gratitude and freedom, joy, relief with my body, if I want that, and if there's something in the way of me allowing myself to create that, then those things that are in the way are going to come up so that I can change them. Now, where we end up getting stuck is, like with knee pain, is we can get so overwhelmed in what's happening in that moment and not ask questions to be able to not receive the clarity of what's actually really going on. Like sometimes we actually get brought to our knees, whether it be physically or emotionally, so that we'll finally get to a place where we'll let ourselves surrender. Whew. Yeah. I'm just looking outside right now and I'm asking all the trees and everything to contribute to me and everything that I'm choosing with this. And everywhere I still will go into judgment of myself or the wrongness of myself, because what I've been doing or have noticed myself do, not all the time, but when it really starts to bother me and my frame of mind is not in a space to handle it as well, one of the first things I go to is like, what did I do wrong? So, number one, did I eat something wrong? Number two, did I twist it, which I didn't? Number three, did I, there was a medication I took, or, just what did I do wrong? I must have done something wrong. What did I do wrong? Well, that would be like me taking one of my grandkids and their stomach is hurting and me going, what did you do wrong? What did you do wrong? What did you do wrong? Like, I just couldn't even imagine choosing that. And you know what? Many of us were kind of raised with that sort of energy, in different sorts, and whether it was even our family of origin, it could have been people at school, friends, coworkers, right away something shows up. It's information, it's intensity, it's information. And then what ends up happening is you actually go and, sorry, I got squirreled by a text. Darn it. Ah! Actually, on a side note, my brother and my sister-in-law and I were doing some really funny texts today. So my brother started it. It was a jellyfish that looked like a man's appendage, and it was a picture of a jellyfish that looked just like it. So depending on your perspective. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me just see here. I'm just trying to find one of the notes from your therapist thing. Hmm. Okay, just wait here. Like one of them is like practice staying in the uncomfortable conversations with people I love, even though I want to run away. And what if that's actually even you? Practicing to stay in the uncomfortable situations with yourself without running away, even though you want to. And trust me, I've wanted to. Trust me. This one of the ways we hand down emotional neglect down the generations is when we shame the children or people with oh, they just want to get attention, and praise the child or person who does not appear to show this need for attention. Yes, human beings need attention. So what if your body needs that attention? What if it needs you? It needs your love. It needs your support. It needs your kindness. It needs needs the space that you would gift to a baby, a puppy, your sweet loved one, whoever it is for you. Give yourself the space of just kindness, presence. Yeah. It's that whole thing like where we don't value the being, but we value the doing. And that could be a whole nother show, people. Well, thanks again for listening. And I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. And I adore you. And thewealthylala@gmail.com if you got a Hey Lala question. Take care.